I just ask also in relation to people who may be in quarantine, are you and this agency group meeting, are you alerted to particular people who receive payments that may be in quarantine, or are there plans afoot that you should be informed?
So we are alerted to that, and in fact I received an email from a recipient on the weekend noting that they were in quarantine and they were concerned about their income payments. So we were able to refer that case to Services Australia for what we call service recovery to ensure that that recipient had continuity of payment.
What was the payment for that, may I ask?
I think it was Newstart, Senator.
Newstart. And how would that impact? Is that in terms of them not being able to get to Centrelink and therefore meeting the requirements to receive that payment?
So they were concerned that they wouldn't be able to meet their mutual obligation requirements, and so therefore we sent that to Services Australia to ensure service recovery was put in place, that Services Australia were aware of the circumstances and to ensure that the records were so adjusted.
So does that mean, as part of this coming together of the agency heads, that you have to provide that information to payment recipients if they are affected by coronavirus? These are the steps they should take. Just walk me through what you're planning.
So that's one of the plans that Services Australia are working through, is how we communicate and how we best get those messages out. So one of the options is looking at MyGov as whether or not we can get that messages out to recipients in that way about how they should alert Services Australia should they find themselves in those circumstances.
And what about people who don't have access to digital technology, or even older people who are perhaps the most vulnerable? What about people in those circumstances? What are you preparing for there if they can't communicate in that way?
So we are working to ensure that the telephone lines continue. We know that older Australians sometimes prefer using the telephone lines. They also use digital as well. We've done some profiling on those, but the telephone lines are still available. The service centres are available for Australians to go in and talk to them. But we are planning, should that not always be the case, such as we saw during the bushfires when some service centres weren't able to be open because of threat.